Liberty swimming and diving team set to defend their CCSA championship on Wednesday down in Athens, Georgia. Here to tell us more about the championship preview is head coach Jake Shellenberger. And Jake, it has a pretty good ring to it. Defending champions, your title to defend. How do you do that this week?
It does. It is nice, and last year was a great year. And but you know what they say: you're only as good as your last meet. You're only as good as your last season, and that season is now. Last year's over, and we are the defending conference champions. However, Florida Gulf Coast is very good. They're a legitimate top 25 program, and you know they won 5 in a row, and they're going to want it back. They're going to want it back this week. Head down to Georgia, University of Georgia, Natatorium, beautiful pool. We're excited for the meet. We have to swim well. We have to swim really, really, really well. You know, they're going to have a huge advantage with diving points, and so we have to overcome that. I'm not going to say by how many points, but I scored out their diving points, and it's a lot, and so we have to make up those points. We simply have to outrace them, outswim them at this meet.
You're accustomed, though, to making up those points in your meets. So what's the difficult thing about doing that? And it just goes to show you how good of swimmers you have to be able to do that each and every time.
Yeah, it gives us a little bit of a chip on our shoulders, you know, so to speak. We know that we'll be down going into meets, and we know that we have to work extra hard and prepare that much better to beat some of these programs. As far as this weekend down in Georgia, if you look at us and Florida Gulf Coast, we match up really well. You know, the top 7 or 8 swimmers on both sides are really good. I mean, they've got their great people. We've got our great people. And what will determine the meet will be the 9 through 18, the 10 through 18 scoring spots, sort of the bottom half of that scoring roster. And that's where our depth, I mean, we need people to step up down in those scoring spots and really rock and roll.
Finished 13-4 in the regular season. How do you think those 17 matches helped prepare you for this week?
Oh, they do. You know, we trained the whole year for this meet. You know, swimming is an interesting sport because your regular season, while you want to do well and you want to win dual meets, it's really about the conference championship meet. You could theoretically go, you know, so we were 13-4. You could go 0-17, win your conference title, do well at NC2As, and it's a great year. You know, there's no qualification as far as going to the conference meet. Everybody goes. Mm-hmm. And if you do well there and really rock and roll, it's a great year. Having said that, you know, the dual meet season does prepare you. You're working on things all year. You're trying to get better. You're working on details. You're trying to figure out who your 18 scorers are. You're trying to figure out who your relay people are. And so you need that regular season. You want to do well. You want to win the meets. And it's all preparing you for the conference meet. It's all a build-up to this weekend.
Last year's championship was hosted by the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and each one of those races you had somebody on the podium. So getting on the podium, what is that feeling like?
It's tough. You know, it's a top 3 finish, and you have to be really, really good. And our conference is pretty good. It's faster than, for example, Conference USA. And we don't get a whole lot of respect nationwide just simply because, you know, we don't have the football and the basketball associated with the conference. It's a swimming-only conference. But, boy, you look at last year, for example, you know, we had a relay qualify for NC2As, first time in conference history. We scored at NC2As, and then Florida Gulf Coast had 2 women score at NC2As. And so if you compare that to the other mid-major conferences having a relay at the meet and having 3 women from the conference score at NC2As, it's a good conference. It's fast. At the top end especially, it's really good. I mean, if you want to win the 100 backstroke, for example, in our conference, well, you've got to beat, you know, Kira from Florida Gulf Coast, who was 6th at NC2As, and only 5 women in the entire country beat her. So it's a good conference. It takes a lot to score top 3. And you really have to be good. You have to work hard. You have to have some talent, too, at the top level.
And finally, Jay, going into championships, whether it be any sport, basketball, football playoffs, baseball, College World Series, there's always storylines centering around the championships. What are the storylines for this particular one down in Athens?
Well, boy, it was written yesterday. We had planned originally to leave for the meet on Tuesday. And I got a call from one of our associate ADs and said, hey, you know, the weather's supposed to turn pretty nasty. And we have a travel policy here at Liberty where if school is delayed or closed, nobody's allowed to travel, on official university business. And that would be us, So if school were closed Tuesday, we wouldn't be able to travel Tuesday. Right. The meet starts Wednesday. At that point, the meet starts 6 p.m. Warm-ups are at 4:30.
I mean, the defending champion has to be down there,
Has to be there. And so our storyline was written yesterday when we made a change last minute to leave now. Our bus is packed up. It's waiting for me. So we're leaving now, and we had to let the women know yesterday. I mean, it was a change that we made yesterday. And so I tweeted out yesterday the definition of resilient, if you're bent a certain way, are you able to spring back to the prior shape, to the previous shape? And so our storyline was written as far as, we got thrown a little bit of a wrench with the snow that's supposed to get here. And, it changes class times. We had people trying to make up tests, and then just, you want them to take a deep breath and breathe and tell them that, hey, it's going to be okay. But it's a good life lesson. You can plan a pretty picnic, they say, but you can't predict the weather, right? So this is a good test for us. We've had to be resilient all year. We've had some sickness that we've been battling the past few weeks. We've had some injuries. And, we've just had to shake it off all year, and this is just one more thing that we've had to shake off. I think the women are excited. It certainly gives you a little bit of an extra rush when you get an email on Sunday saying, by the way, we're leaving tomorrow morning. All the plans you had now changed. So laundry, even something as simple as getting all the clothes ready for the meet. If they were going to wait until Monday night to do that, well, that all changed. So it's a good storyline. We're ready for it. I feel that we have a resilient bunch, and we'll be ready to rock and roll on Wednesday.
Well, we hope this interview is the hardest thing you have to do between now and Wednesday. We look around the corner. The bus is already packed. They're just waiting on you, so get out of here and good luck.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan.
That's head swimming and diving coach Jake Shellenberger. Don't forget, it begins on Wednesday down in Athens, Georgia, on the University of Georgia campus, the Swimming and Diving Championships of the CCSA. Follow all the action here at libertyflames.com.